right, my first time doing that as I enter into the room. Unfortunately, I accidentally hit the end broadcast button here. But hello, welcome to the Weekly Beer Show. My name is Nate. I am Nate Legend this week. I will be the single host on the Weekly Beer Show this week. This is part of our Just One Beer series. And since we do not have, unfortunately, our favorite host, Travelman Dan, he is under the weather. And if Travelman Dan says he's sick, he is not the kind of person to miss work, miss a deadline, pretty much miss anything, especially with the excuse of being sick. So I believe him if he says it. I did talk to him very, very briefly, and he did not sound great. So, Danny, we all wish you a speedy recovery. Brendan, hello. Thank you so much for joining. We hope you get better soon, and we can't wait to see you on the show next week. Barrow, hello. Thank you so much for joining. Absolutely appreciate it. And Nutmeg, Chase, I believe this is Chase, who I was on your show the other night. Thank you so much for having me on, even if it was so briefly. Today, Just One Beer. We're shaking it up just a little bit. Since Danny's not here, instead of doing what we were going to do, which was the Battle for Georgia or the Battle of Georgia, we had two fantastic beers that our friend Brian the Beer Snob sent to us a couple of weeks ago. He was unable to make a show on Saturday. Danny then ultimately got sick, quite sick. So here we are. I needed to find a different beer. So I'm going to get right to it, hop right into this thing. We're just going to do a Just One Beer. It might only be 30 minutes. It's not going to be an hour. It's not going to be an hour and a half. It's just one beer to review. We'll go through the beer. We'll crack it, smell it, taste it. We will do a What Would You Rather. We will go on a brewery tour. We will do what are you reading, watching, or listening to? Then we get out. So, Mom, my mom says hello. Mom, what's up? I know that my brother took my mom today to the golf range, or should I say the driving range. Hopefully that went well. I saw some pictures, and Mom looked pretty good. So hope you had a great time out there, Brendan and Mom. Nate hosts the Battle of Atlanta solo. Not a bad idea. Travelman Dan, what's up, guys? I'll be back next week. Let's try that Just One Beer. So, guys, let's hop right into the beer. We don't want to waste any time here. And from the great city of Kansas City, Missouri, a brewery called Boulevard. And I'm pretty sure, Danny, you can chime in. We've reviewed several of their beers in the past. I had this beer sitting in my fridge for about a year. And it was really just a matter of time until I got to it. Unfortunately, it's 13.5%. So because of that, I've been waiting for the right opportunity, waiting. And it's been pushed further back into my fridge, out of the way of view, which means I just haven't gotten to it. When Danny told me that he wasn't going to be able to make the show, I was like, well, I need to figure out something. I got to do Just One Beer. And I found the Stuff of Legend. A limited release from Boulevard Brew Co., Kansas City, Missouri. This thing pops in at 13.5%. It is, I don't know if you can tell by the color of this bottle, it is a stout. And from what I imagine, Stuff of Legend, that looks like, take a look at that bottle right there, the artwork. Those are Oreo, that's an Oreo cookie. So you got the chocolate wafer and you've got the cream on the inside. I have a feeling this is going to be a very vanilla forward chocolate kind of blend stout that's going to give us what we would identify potentially as a chocolate wafer cookie or an Oreo cookie. Let me get through some of the comments here. We've got a lot of comments. Thank you guys so much for joining. We got 11 people in the room. Absolutely fantastic. Ooh, what's JOB mean? That means Just One Beer. That's right. Danny says he will be back next week. Cindy, happy Sunday. I lost my voice, says Travelman Dan. And Damien down here says, a beer after my own heart. Damien, I would imagine you like Oreo cookies. Well, this is the beer for you. So I'm going to get to our famous Budweiser bottle opener here. This is a gift from Travelman Dan to me. And we are going to crack this thing. Are you guys ready? I hope it doesn't spill all over the place. This has been sitting in the fridge for a very long time. Ooh, I can hear something fizzling. Ooh, all right. Not a lot of explosions here on when I open it, which is a good thing because that's typically what happens when things are a little bit shaken or been sitting in the fridge for a while. You guys probably don't see it on the show, but I might be like doing something down here. That means that it's overflowing and I got to figure it out. But anyway, I can use a Teku glass for this one. And we're going to get some nose feedback on the nose here. Oh, yeah, absolutely. So ton of coffee, ton of chocolate, a lot of malt on the nose. If you are someone that smells a lot of beer, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But that's super rich smelling. It smells like you just kind of cracked open like a $7, 78% dark chocolate bar and just kind of smelled it. That's what it smells like. Very, very rich. Damn, it's Oreo. Hell yeah, you're right. Had 2 packs of Oreos this weekend. Went crazy on them. I would guess so, Damien, if you had 2 packages in a weekend. Just make sure that when you do it with your hands, it's off to the side. Exactly. Thank you, Chase. So we're going to use a Teku glass. This thing's kind of been sitting here for a minute. Again, really nice nose. Vanilla, chocolate, coffee. Smells like you would expect a stout to smell like. All right, let's pour it. Oh, wow. It's like motor oil. Now I'm going to go with the heavy pour. I'm going to try the heavy pour like my friends Brian the Beer Snob, Chase, and Dave's TV like to say. Got to be careful right there. Wow. Okay. A lot of caramel right there from the head. You can see it's like, if you guys can see the color here, it's really pretty. Look at that color. You can smell it. Hi, Mom. So this is the beer. This is what it looks like. Like I said, definitely a lot of vanilla, a lot of chocolate, a lot of coffee. Smells like a stout. Looks like a stout. All right, here we go. We're gonna try this thing. We're gonna taste it. Just a little sip. Get it on the palate. See what kind of flavors register for us. Wow. Okay. First of all, that is every bit of 13.3%. Holy shit, is that boozy. Like it tastes more like wine than it does like beer, right? Like it just has that, it's very, very thick. The carbonation is quite low, especially when you kind of do a heavy pour here and you're getting about an inch, inch and a half, 2 inches ahead, right? So that kind of effervescence is leaving. And it is still, right? There's nothing moving in here. I can't see anything. And you kind of get that on the palate. It's very, very heavy, very rich. Yeah, there's a bit of caramel in there. So you're kind of getting that burnt molasses kind of flavor, which I like, which is kind of, what a typical stout might yield. But this is more of a dessert style stout. It being based off of the Oreo cookie, that's what you're getting. All right, let's go through a couple of the comments here. Love that caramel colored head. Yeah, absolutely. So first thing that stood out to me is the color of that head. Damien the Fiend, beautiful. Absolutely. I'm jealous. I'm over drinking a table beer. Hey, table beers are good as well. You looking fly, Michigan? I'll have to tell that story one day. Booze lava. Anyway, guys, let's get to the brewery tour. We're going to keep going here. All right. So Boulevard Brewing, as you can see their credentials there, they're quite a large brewery based out of Kansas City, Missouri. There's their credentials. Go on their website. I like their website. There's a lot of information there. We'll go to their story a little bit about who they are, what brought them to be brewers. And of course, they're kind of iconic in the Midwest. We get quite a lot of their options out here in Las Vegas. I know Danny gets quite a few in the Los Angeles market as well. So they're not a micro brewery, right? They're just not. They're more regional, and they have distribution all over the country. So, but still a good brewery with a lot of options, a lot of offerings. There you can go. For those of you that are living outside the United States, there is the great United States of America, and Missouri is pretty much smack dab right in the middle. Kansas City is on the northwest portion of the state, and I believe St. Louis is another large city out of Missouri, and that's in the southeast. But anyway, if you guys ever want to go check out Kansas City, I recommend it. I've never been there, but people rave about it. Today's beer, Stuff of Legend. Look at that. I mean, even the bottle, even the PNG looks good, doesn't it? But that's what it looks like. That's a cannon. Man, this shit is strong. This is a stout, 13.3%. This is one of those beers, just one beer, not only just one beer for the show, but this is literally just one beer for the night. You can have this, sip on it. When you first start, it's going to be nice and cold, crisp. You're going to get a bunch of that chocolate. As you kind of get down and this thing warms a little bit, the flavor profile changes. That's where it gets interesting. So if you like stouts, if it's kind of one of your preferred styles of beer, it's not a sessionable drink. This is not something you buy a 6-pack of these and you just kind of start getting after it. You have one at the end of the night. That's what this is for, right? So anyway, this is exactly the beer. Looks great. Love it. Stuff a legend. I like the cheeky kind of resemblance to the Oreo cookie. Our story, I'm going to have to switch this up here just a little bit, guys, so I can read it. But they had an epiphany, the brewers over at Boulevard. It was the summer of 1984, and John McDonald was thirsty. On vacation in Europe, the future founder of Boulevard Brewing Company wandered into a bar specializing in Belgian beers. He tried one, then another and another. Amazed by the variety, the aromas, and the flavors, he was hooked. Thought this was pretty cool, just talking about their story a little bit. Opportunity. Back home, John couldn't stop dreaming about those beers, but dreaming was all he could do because American beers of the time were homogenous and unremarkable. Completely agree. Kansas City, even though it was only 5 at the time, Kansas City, once home to more than a dozen breweries producing a wide array of beers, had succumbed to the industrial onslaught. Nothing was left. DIY. After art school, John made his living as a carpenter, always fascinated by the creative process. He couldn't shake the memory of those amazing beers, and he began to consider the possibilities. He started home brewing. He visited breweries. He put together a business plan, sold his house to raise money, and set out to find the rest of the resources he would need to start a brewery. So I really, really like this story, and that's why I wanted to share it. Again, it's telling the story of a single guy. He was on a trip in Europe, tried a bunch of beers that were outstanding to him. There was a lot of variety. There was a lot of character, a lot of texture in those beers. And that vision, that feeling, that taste, that moment that he had in Europe, he brought it back to the States. He sold his house to make something work. It obviously worked. We're talking about it now 25, 30 years later. So kudos to John. I think it's pretty remarkable. I want to do something different. As John talked to potential investors, he often heard the same question. You want to do what? You want to compete with the biggest brewer in the world on the other side of the state? He's talking about Budweiser. No, he answered. They do what they do really well. I want to do something different. I want to make big beers, a variety of beers, beers with color and flavor and aroma and body, beers for real beer lovers. I thought that was an exceptional way, an exceptional quote about what the micro beer, craft beer community is all about. It's not that Budweiser's not good. It's not that Coors Light isn't good. They're fine. They serve a purpose. But there's another side to beer that we've grown to learn and love over the last 30 years, and that's exactly what he's talking about. No place like home. He didn't have to look far to get started. John lived and worked in an old brick building on Southwest Boulevard that had once housed the laundry for Santa Fe Railroad. He moved his carpentry shop to a corner and began to build a brewery. It wasn't ideal, but it was his. And that's fantastic right there. It wasn't ideal. It didn't matter that it wasn't ideal. He made it work because it was his. He wasn't working, his blood, sweat, and tears for somebody else. He was doing it for himself. That's pretty cool. The first beer, it took more than a year and every bit of money he raised to retrofit the building, find the equipment, including a vintage 35-barrel Bavarian brew house, and get everything up and running. Finally, in 1989, the first keg of Boulevard Pale Ale was ready. John loaded it into the back of his pickup and delivered it to a restaurant just a few blocks away. Again, that is guerrilla marketing, branding. Put it in the back of his pickup truck, drove to a restaurant down the street, gave him their beer. That's how he started. Each one of you can do the exact same thing. Here's some more of their beers. I just wanted to put this picture in here. I think they do a really good job of their marketing, their branding. The Tank 7, their farmhouse Saison right there. It's really super strong, a really good beer. I remember drinking that in China and thinking, shit, this is blowing my mind. Now when I drink it, I don't necessarily like it as much as I did back then, but they have a lot of offerings, and I would imagine at their brewery every single day, they've got a rotation of really cool things that you guys can check out. the Tank 7 once again. Just wanted to kind of put that. I really love the picture. Look at that brewery. God damn, that is a nice looking brewery. Right in the heart of Kansas City. Three levels. Love the look. Love the style. I mean, it's inviting. I want to go. And there's some pictures of the inside. Pretty cool. I like it. Let's go through some of the comments. That, my friends, is Boulevard Brewing. So, all right, let's see here. I remember Boulevard being very prevalent in Springfield. I was out there in 2014, which was pretty much before the craft explosion. Mike's Kitchen. What's up, Mike? How you doing, man? He loves them. Brendan, the show is the stuff of legend. Thank you so much. If you drink a 6-pack of 13.5%, you will be legendary. I completely agree. Do you think Wade Boggs can do it? Or dead, says Chase. Marie, hello. How are you? Thank you for joining. Travel Man Dan. Triple Bach, not my thing, but I love a good bottle of motor oil, as my brother would call it. You're absolutely right, Mike. This is motor oil. It absolutely tastes like that, but it's a good motor oil. Wow. This is not, even that was too much to drink at once. It was too much to drink at once. I'm not going to lie. It's a lot. My palate is completely wiped out. So anything after this, you're not going to taste anything. You might taste a nickel. Barrow, Nate's a legend. Thank you so much. Barrow, you are a legend. Love you, my friend. Chase, again, different beers make craft what it is. It's exactly right. As a matter of fact, when I go into craft brewery, I kind of gauge them and grade them a little bit on the offerings that they have. If they're just IPAs, listen, you can make 10 great IPAs, but I want something different. You know, I want a sour, I want a lambic, I want a stout, I want a porter, I want, you know, some of these farmhouse ales, wild ales, barrel ales, right? I want something different. Not everything needs to be a New England or a West Coast IPA. John's a gangsta. Travel Man Dan, drinking a 6-pack of 13% would make someone legendary. Probably not in the right ways, though. Absolutely agree with you, Damien. You're probably going to be a legend for some stupid shit. Have trolling. How you doing? Thank you so much for joining. We miss you. Hopefully you can make the next show. We'll be back to our regular time, which is changing now. Guys, we're going to Sunday, every Sunday evening. So that is a change for us. Danny and I will talk more about that next week. Chris Duncan, fly, Eagles fly. Go Bills tomorrow. Great stuff this evening, Nate. Thank you so much. And tomorrow, yes, tomorrow, Monday Night Football. I was talking to my brother about this weekend. I'm not a fan of them doing 2 Monday Night Football games at the same time. So the Bills start at 4:15. The Eagles start at 5:15. So they're not exactly at the same time, but you can't watch both games unless they're going to do something creative where you have a split screen. 2 games on Monday night doesn't make sense unless you're able to stagger them. Maybe you guys feel differently. Let me know in the comments. 10 great IPAs make a pretty one-note brewery. Completely agree. Let everyone know that the show will be every Sunday at 6 p.m. from now on. Full show. Absolutely. Travel Mandan, thank you so much. And NFL schedule is jacked up tomorrow. Completely agree. Guys, love this beer. Let's get to our favorite segment. Then we will review it. Then we will do what are you reading, what are you watching, what are you listening to? And then we're getting out of here. All right, guys, what would you rather? And this is for my friend, my best friend, Travel Man Dan, his favorite segment, everyone's favorite segment. Let's do it. What would you rather? I'm giving you guys a plane ticket. You can go to one of these 2 places. We're going to stay to Missouri. Would you rather go to Kansas City? Great barbecue, great people, great sports. The football team is fantastic. It is absolutely a Midwestern city. Would you rather go to Kansas City or the other side of the state? We just talked about it. The east side of the state. Home of the St. Louis Cardinals. The best fans in baseball. Or so they say. Would you rather go to Kansas City, Missouri or St. Louis, Missouri? For me, I'm going to say Kansas City. I've been to St. Louis. I enjoyed it. It was fine. It was a Midwest city. It's kind of flyover in a way, but I enjoyed it. A lot of little pockets of areas that are quite unique. So you can be in one area of St. Louis and you can go drive 10 minutes away. It feels like you're in a completely different city. Great food, great people. I really enjoyed it. So for me, I'm going to go Sorry, I'm going to go Kansas City. I've never been, so I've been to St. Louis. Don't want to go there for the second time if I haven't been to Kansas City. So for me, it is Kansas City. Hab Trollin agrees. I don't know, he's not agreeing with me. He's probably agreeing with somebody else. Thanks, guys. I totally agree. Would watch both games, 6 p.m. or back on the game time. Yeah, it's a big deal. I don't know why they would do it. Stagger the games. It doesn't make any sense. Kansas City says, my brother. Thank you, Brendan. You and I can go together. Either says Michael Wolf. What's up, Mike? Damien the Fiend, coin flip for me. Can go to either or. What is the one with the best weather? They're the same. They're in the same state. Chris Duncan, I'm a St. Louis baseball fan, and I'd like to see that stadium. Yeah, me too. It's the one thing about St. Louis is that the Cardinals, they do. Like, they got great fans. They got a great atmosphere. I would have loved to have been there in those not early St. Louis Cardinals days, but back when Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa were doing the home run kind of thing. And that would have been a pretty cool time to be there when they had the Big Mac sign up there for Mark McGwire. All right, so we're moving on here. I chose Kansas City. Next, what would you rather? We're going to do something super basic, guys, super mid. Would you rather Starbucks or would you rather Dunkin' Donuts? Tell me in the comments. This is a pretty easy one for me. For a very long time, I always associated Dunkin' Donuts being kind of more, I don't know, slightly less corporate than Starbucks, that their coffee was supposed to be better, that their food was a little bit different. I don't know. I don't like Dunkin' Donuts. I don't necessarily love Starbucks, but I think Starbucks coffee is better. Dunkin' Donuts has a weird sourness to their coffee that I just don't like. And I drink iced coffee. I want my iced coffee to look like this, not like iced tea. Dunkin' Donuts iced coffee looks like iced tea. So for me, Starbucks. What do you guys say in the comments? Travelman Dan also says Starbucks. Of course he does. I knew he would say that. I'm a native New Englander, so it's all Dunkin' for me. Really, Chase? Man, I don't know. I'm unimpressed. Their donuts are dog shit. Sorry, guys. D&D had a huge decline. Completely agree, Travelman Dan. Dunkin' for donuts. Starbucks for coffee. Dunkin' for Brendan. Dunkin' for me if I was forced between the two. And Chris Duncan says, depending on how much money I have with me that day, my heart is with Starbucks, so completely get that. All right, here we go. Next category. Would you rather listen to for the rest of your life? Would you rather listen to Taylor Swift? That is the girl on the left. She's tall, she's blonde, she's from Reading, Pennsylvania. A ton of hits. Probably doesn't get enough credit for me because I don't really listen to that kind of music. But when I do, I enjoy it. Or would you rather Michael Jackson, the king of pop, no longer with us, kind of a tumultuous career, up and down, right? A little bit on the weird spectrum, which is cool, right? He was a pop star, pop legend. Both of them legends, different times. What would you rather, Taylor Swift or Michael Jackson? I got to go Michael Jackson. I just do. And it's only because of the familiarity with the music. If I had to listen to it for the rest of my life, or maybe I'm wrong here. Maybe because I don't know Taylor Swift's music, maybe I'd get more enjoyment out of it. So I'd start at zero as opposed to knowing pretty much all of Michael's catalog. You know what? I'm going to change it. I'm going to go Taylor Swift. I would choose for the rest of my life, if I had to listen to one artist for the rest of my life between these two, I would choose Taylor Swift. Damien says Michael Jackson, easiest choice ever, which is fair. A lot of people are going to choose Michael Jackson. Travelman Dan, Michael Jackson, smooth criminal. Michael Jackson from Chase, MJ all day, says my brother. Marie says, and mom says MJ. Nobody is, Taylor Swift needs to look at the man in the mirror, does she? Or the woman in the mirror. Definitely can dance to All My Life to MJ. You can dance to Taylor Swift. All right, fine. Clearly, I am on the outside looking in here. I'm going Taylor Swift. Everybody in the comments is going Michael Jackson, which I completely get. All right, here we go. What would you rather? The year is 1985. I was 6. My brother was 5. 4.5. They unleashed, look at that beast on the left, the Ford Bronco. Most people remember the Ford Bronco from ex-Buffalo Bills great running back, O.J. Simpson. It was all white. He was driving, I don't know, probably on the 405 or something in Los Angeles when he was running from the police. But on the right, you have that Range Rover. Both are pretty cool. If I had to look at the two of them, if I'm being honest, the 1985 Ford Bronco looks more badass to me, right? The Range Rover definitely looks cool, but also looks cool because it's like on the side of a fucking volcano. Where the hell is that? A slate quarry? Who's driving down there? Nobody. The Ford Bronco makes more sense than it's in front of a pretty nice house. 1985 Ford Bronco, 1985 Range Rover. Man, that's really hard. One of them is an American-made classic, in my opinion. The other one is an import, but also a classic. I'm going the Ford Bronco, 1985, and I want that black one because that thing's badass. Nate, I'll give you 2 days listening to her. He's obviously going back to the Taylor Swift. I will listen to her for 2 straight days. Next week, I'll come back. Anybody have an album recommend to me? I'll start listening to one album. That's right, Travel Man Dan. I don't know what he's talking about. You'd end it. Brendan is a Swiftie. No, he's not. Range Rover, that's not close. Chase, are you sure? It's not close? Range Rovers have a history. They have a reputation for constantly breaking down and for people being unable to fix them because parts aren't available. You want to deal with a 1985 Range Rover? That's on you. Bronco says, Travel Man Dan, that's why he's my best friend. Marie says, Bronco, thank you very much. Damien, Bronco. Have trolling with the Range Rover, and Brendan, Range Rover can go anywhere. I guess. Last one. What would you rather? We might have done this before, but I think it's a good question at any time. Drink a gallon of ranch dressing or drink a gallon of ketchup. You got to do one. A gallon. Do you know how much a gallon is? Can anybody tell me how many ounces are in a gallon? I forget. Is it 128? 132? 128? I forget. Either way, it's a lot. A gallon of ranch dressing or a gallon of ketchup. I'm going ranch dressing. Can't do the ketchup. Ketchup's gross. Ketchup is for 3-year-olds. At least ranch dressing is, oh God, I don't know. It's less sugary. It's less of ketchup is such a fucking scam. The whole thing sucks. I hate it. For me, ranch dressing. What do you guys say? Mom says a Range Rover. Of course she does, which I get. Mom, do you remember the Bronco 2 we had back in the mid-'80s? Pretty sure it was a 2-tone tan and brown. I don't know if that's true, if that's correct, but that's what I remember. Brendan just threw up a little bit, so he's taking ketchup, I would imagine. Ketchup, I love that stuff. Yes, he does. Awful, but it's ranch. Ketchup is absolutely disgusting. Again, it's for 2-year-olds. Ketchup is for 3-year-olds. You caught me. Ketchup, Nate, you need to grow up. Agreed. Mom said she's Bloody Mary. I don't know what that means, but okay. Ranch dressing, it would be torture. It would be torture for anybody to drink a gallon of anything. Water, milk, beer, ranch dressing, ketchup. Mom says a fucking Bloody Mary. That would be a difficult thing getting down by the gallon. Okay. So guys, thank you so very much. Thank you for the answers. Appreciate that. That's what I'm choosing. I'm choosing the ranch dressing. We got to move a little bit here. Sorry guys. I guess I gotta pound this, which I don't want to do. The only people who put ranch on chicken wings are Philistines and backbiters. That's the comment of the year right there, Mike. Ketchup popsicles, not surprised. I can drink a gallon of beer. Mom, she's going 5? People comparing Bloody Mary's actual ketchup are ignorant. That's my mom. Watch out. Okay, back to this beer. Very much enjoy it. Definitely super chocolatey, very malty. You can see my eyes are starting to like glaze over. I feel this beer for sure. It's strong. I got a nice little buzz. And now that it's kind of warming up a little bit as I get down towards the middle part in the second half of the beer, I'm enjoying it even more. It just tastes better about 2 or 3 or 4 degrees, a little bit warmer. I'm really, really enjoying it. Sorry, Mom is driving. Uh-oh. Good luck, guys. Damien the Fiend, gallon of beer would definitely not be torture. It would be at one time. No? You don't think so? I wouldn't want to drink. Maybe a gallon of Gillies. I could do that. We're going to be reviewing that sometime soon. Borrow, I can drink a gallon of milk. Yeah, but can you do it at one time? Anybody can drink a gallon of milk. Can you do it in one shot? Borrow is a stud. All right, guys, it is time to go to the moment of truth, and that is the review. I can't do this to Danny. I have to finish it. This is part of the deal. This is strong. Stouts are best a little warm. Danny, agree. We're going to drink one of these together, all right, buddy? Fuck. This is strong. Depending if you had to do that in one shot, then it would be painful. By the way, you drink a gallon of this, you're done. Dunzo. You won't wake up for 2 days. All right. Oh, God. A little bit of lacing there. Look at how thick it is, just like hanging on the rim, the glass there. Look at that. That shows you how syrupy. Attaboy. All right, guys. So I finished it. Let's get to the review. Taste. This is a difficult score for me. So I really like stouts. I like Oreo cookies. I think they hit the nail on the head. It is very boozy. The booziness is a slight detractor from my enjoyability on this beer. But I knew going into it was supposed to taste vanilla, chocolate, and stout. That's what I got. I enjoyed it. So I'm going to go a 4.0 on taste. This is a really good stout. I don't know if I would call it an entry-level stout or a beginner stout, especially not at 13.3%. But this is something when you start to get into stouts a little bit more, you start to kind of break down the differences and you get into the dessert stout, imperial stout, I think it's worth it. Give it a try. Price. This beer was $3.39. Now, I got it from a different part of the country. Obviously, the distribution is going to give me a little bit of taxation there. I get that. It is a 12-ounce bottle versus a 16-ounce can, which is quite in vogue at the moment. $3.39, but for 13.3%, it's really hard for me to argue, right? Because it's basically like drinking 3 Budweisers. So for the price, I'm going to go 3.5. I don't love spending that for a single beer, but I think it's fair. So 3.5. Style. Let's go take a look at this. All right. So I hold the marker up. This right here, I love the style. It holds true to the Boulevard branding. So I appreciate when breweries do that. You know, when they're at this level, they have to count less on their branding because they already have a huge following. So they're not going to step out of bounds here too much. I like the blue. It feels really nice when you look at it. There's something inviting about it. I like that they have that big double stuffed Oreo there. It is a limited release. It tells you that it was brewed in 2021. Now, you guys all know I am a sucker for a story. They don't tell me anything on here. Actually, they do. Barrel-aged stout with vanilla and cocoa flavors. Okay, so they tell you that. Stuff of legend, barrel-aged stout, 13.3% alcohol, 20 IBUs. So they're not telling you a whole lot. But again, it's a bottle. There's only a small amount of real estate here for you to do much. I'm going to go 3.0. I like it. Don't love it. All right, so we talked about it last week. Accessibility, notoriety. Danny and I have not figured out how to properly coin this part of the review. So we're going to call it, for today's purposes, accessibility and notoriety. Now, accessibility for Boulevard is quite good in the States. It's not great outside the States, but if you live here, you likely can get your hands on one of their beers. On this beer in particular, you're probably going to struggle a little bit if you're not close. But the notoriety on this beer or on this brewery is quite high, right? The Tank 7 is something that most people in the beer community know from all across the country. So for accessibility and notoriety, even though you can't get it overseas, probably, especially this particular offering, I'm going to give them a 2.5. This is a special release, limited release. They don't even make it anymore. You can't get it. But because of the brewery, the fact that I got it, 2.5. Now, last one, X Factor. I don't have a lot to bring out of this beer from a nostalgia perspective. I don't have a ton of friends in the Kansas. I don't have any friends in the Kansas City market that I'm aware of. I bought this myself, so it's nobody else that's kind of given it to me. So where I would typically give it points. Unfortunately, our host is sick today, so maybe I'll give an extra point for that, just so he can feel a little bit better. So for the X Factor, we're going to go 3.5. It's good. It's cool. I enjoy it. I like the concept. I like the idea. It's cheeky, right? And it hits the nail on the head from a flavor profile. Super strong. For that, I'm going to give it a 3.5. When I add up these scores, 7, 10, 6, 16.5 is the score. Here you go, guys. Stuff of Legend. I am Nate Legend. I just drank a bottle of Stuff of Legend from Boulevard Brewing. Gave it a 16.5. We are going to roll the dice, and then we're going to get out of here. And I rolled a 2. So what am I watching right now? I'm not watching anything. But I'll tell you what I'm going to watch, and that is Rings of Power. For those of you that are unaware, that is a new series based on the Tolkien books of Lord of the Rings or The Ring or whatever it's called. I forget. Gollum and all that kind of stuff. I loved the original movies. I didn't love the Hobbit movies, but I loved Return of the King and Fellowship of the Ring and Two Towers or Twin Towers. I forget. Two Towers, right? So I really, really enjoyed it. I want to see if it kind of holds true to what we believe the Tolkien world to look like. So I'm kind of excited about that. Even though I haven't watched it, I'm going to start watching it this week. And next week on the show, I'm going to talk about it again. But that is it for me today. We reviewed the Boulevard Stuff of Legend. We went through the What Would You Rather. We did it all without our favorite host, Travelman Dan. Danny, we hope that you recover very, very quickly because we miss you. Brendan says he's up for the challenge. I really want to try it. Does it taste similar to the Oreo? It does. It did. There's a little bit in there. Tastes like an Oreo. Starbucks is the answer from Cindy. Chase says $3.39 for a 13.5. You're right. It is. It's good. Hey, people, remember to hit the like button. That's right. Hit the like button. Subscribe. If you're not subscribed, it helps out with the algorithm. Danny and I will be very, very appreciative of that. Heard it's super woke. I don't know what that means. Lord of the Rings. Have you read the book? I have not. Anyway, guys, thank you all for joining. Super excited to be able to do this Just One Beer with everybody. Next week, we're going to have Travelman Dan back on the show. I'm slurring because of this stout. Remember, I love all of you. Can't wait to see you all next week. Danny, can't wait to see you. Remember, it's a big world out there. Make sure you see every bit of it. All right. See, I can only do that when I don't have to do the controls. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining. Danny, we'll see you next week. Love you all.